Hello everyone, and today we're back into another Terraria video, and today we're going to be talking about 10 very useful tips that y'all can use in your Terraria world. So, let's head right to them right now. And tip number 1 is a way to make infinite iron. So, there's an NPC called the Merchant, and they sell these items called anvils. Usually you can craft an anvil with iron bars or lead bars, but there is something you can actually do. You can buy a ton of these anvils, and then you could throw these in the shimmer to get iron bars. I'll show you real quickly. Here we are, we're at a shimmer, and as you can see, you could throw these iron anvils, and you could uncraft them into iron bars. Now, this has been known for a while and has been used as an infinite money glitch. And while they have patched that now, you could still make the mechanical boss summoning items, you can make iron blocks, you can make rails. There's still a lot of very useful items you can make out of iron. That doesn't necessarily mean that you should sell it. And since shimmers are in every world now, you could throw the anvils into the shimmer to make infinite iron, meaning that you do not have to mine for iron ever again. So, yeah, that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 in Terraria involves these quad racer drones. So, you can just throw these and you can control them as much as you want. These are fun little items that are usually sold by the cyborg, which is awesome. These are very cool little items, but there's nothing that you can really do with these. Although, if you equipped the FPV goggles and then throw your drone, you can actually see where your drone goes, which is actually a very cool feature. You can kind of use these as actually scouting missions across the world, which is actually a very cool idea. There's also an altitude limit as well, so if you fly too high with these, the drone will disable. So, here you go. It goes back into the inventory. But there is actually a very unique glitch I want to show y'all with this. If you are in the forest biome and you go underground to like something like the snow biome, I'll show you. You could fly these into the cave and it'll have a different background. I'll show you. That it will change the background. As you can see, it's a dirt background instead of a snow biome background because, like I said earlier, your character is in the forest. It even affects the map too, so it is definitely a very unique glitch in Terraria. I'm not sure if it is a glitch or if this is recommended in the game, but it's something cool that you can do with drones, and that is tip number 2 in Terraria. Now, tip number 3 actually involves the underground jungle, and it actually involves Chlorophyte. Now, Chlorophyte is a hard mode ore that spawns in the jungle that can actually defend against the corruption, which is actually a very cool ore. But you can also mine it to make some really good items. So let me get a pickaxe out real quick. And basically the tip is when you mine Chlorophyte ore, always leave a couple pieces of Chlorophyte and cover them in mud. Because there's a cool feature with Chlorophyte that they can actually grow back in the underground jungle. Because since they grow in mud, if you place mud over the Chlorophyte will grow over time. That's actually how Chlorophyte spawns. They spawn in like little chunks, and the longer you are in the world, they will grow to a relatively bigger size. So, as you can see, I'm mining this Chlorophyte right here, and there you go. Now that there's only a few slices left, we cover it back in mud, and bang. The next time I go under there, the Chlorophyte should grow back. It's a very cool tip on trying to maximize your Chlorophyte numbers, especially if you are a ranger. As you can see around here, I placed mud to cover these blocks, and there's a ton of patches of Chlorophyte that are growing. It's definitely a very unique ore, and it's definitely a very good way to actually make a lot of Chlorophyte stuff. And that is tip number 3. So remember, when you mine Chlorophyte, leave a couple pieces, and then get your mud blocks up, and cover them right back up. Tip number 4 is using the bundle of balloons to get more jumps for your mound. So, the bundle of balloons is an item that can give you really high jumps. You can jump like so many different times before you don't have to. This is also affected with mounds as well. So if I equip it, the Brain Scrambler, you can actually jump multiple times with it, which is actually a very cool feature with it. And since the Brain Scrambler mound, the Scutlicks, can actually shoot at enemies, you can use your double jumps to jump over stuff, which is very good. It's actually very good as a flying system, too, or an alternative over wings. So let me spawn in an Eye of Cthulhu just for example. So as you can see, I can jump multiple times with the mound when you wouldn't usually be able to. It's a very cool feature that you can actually jump multiple times with these jumping mounts. It doesn't just have to be the Scutlicks mount as well. You can also use the Slime mount as well, which, as you can see, you can get very high with these mounds. So, I mean, I almost got out to the top of the world there. So, yeah. It's definitely a very, very, very cool tip, especially when you're using ground mounds. And I can show y'all that if you don't have the bundle of balloons on, you will not double jump. So let me just show you real quick. So here you go. I'm spamming the spacebar, and as you can see, I'm not double jumping anymore. But with the bundle of balloons, you will double jump, which is awesome. And that is tip number 4. Tip number 5 is to use the Feral Claws when you're a melee class. So there are weapons that cannot auto-swing in Terraria. Like the first weapon you get, the Copper Short Sword. As you can hear my computer click, I have to keep manually clicking in order to use the Copper Short Sword. Same with other weapons like the Mushroom Spear. I gotta click multiple times in order to use the Mushroom Spear. There are other weapons that can auto-swing like the Flying Dragon, but there are a lot of melee weapons that could really benefit with an auto-swing. And that's where the Feral Claws come in. It gives you increased melee speed and enables auto-swing for melee weapons. You can upgrade this all the way up to a Fire Gauntlet, and not only that you will auto-fire, all your melee weapons will auto-fire, it will actually give a fire effect for all the opposing enemies, which is awesome. You can use this with any melee weapon. You can use this with flails. You can use this with spears. You can even use this against the Copper Short Sword as well. So, yeah, it can make any melee weapon auto-swing, and it can absolutely change the game. And actually, one of the tricks that are coming up actually utilizes the Fire Gauntlet. So, yeah. This is tip number 5 on the list. Tip number 6 allows you to actually move while in stealth. So there is a post-Moonlord set called the Vortex Armor, and it has a special ability where if you double tap down, you can actually go into stealth. And then when you go into stealth, it increases all the ranged weapons damage by a lot. So I'll get out of stealth. Snowman Cannons is 120 and 95. When I go into stealth, it does 191 and 143, which is a massive damage buff. But if you have very fast movement items, you can actually move while in stealth. You can even use grapples while in stealth that can gain momentum and speed. So it's actually a very good strategy to use the Vortex Armor while in stealth. If you don't hit the ground, you will not lose that much speed. So I'm going to summon a Fishron just to show y'all how good being in stealth is as a ranger. So as you can see, Duke Fishron is getting destroyed by the Snowman Cannon. I'm doing like a ton of damage to it. And keep in mind, it's a weapon that you get from the Frostman. I'm doing over 500 damage while in stealth. Let's switch to the Tsunami real quickly. And as you can see, oh my god. Yeah. When you're in stealth, you hit like a truck. And I know what you're thinking, this could also work with the Shroomite armor, but it actually doesn't. And the reason is why, it's because Shroomite armor, you cannot move while in stealth. So it does actually make it a lot harder to fully utilize. And as you can see, the Duke is dead. Oh my god. It doesn't just work with bows, cannons, and guns. It also works with pre-hard mode weapons like the paint gun. And get ready for this. Can I just show y'all something cool real quickly? While in stealth, the paint gun actually does damage to Duke Fishron. So, yeah. If y'all want me to do a video on using the paint gun to beat Duke Fishron, tell me in the comments below, because I think it would definitely be possible. It would definitely be a very fun video to make. So, yeah. Moving while in stealth. That is tip number 6. The 7th tip I want to show y'all is using the North Pole to maximize DPS. So, the North Pole is a spear that you get from the Frost Moon. And before 1.3, there's a strategy I always used that could completely shred bosses. When you're shooting the North Pole in the air, you can actually summon a ton of snowflakes that can absolutely shred enemies. As you can see, it's absolutely destroying the slimes when they come into it. So, we're going to test this on like a slow boss. Let's try it on a golem, and let's see how much it can shred it. So, there you go. As you can see, I am using the North Pole, and as it jumps in the air, it's actually getting totally shred. It's because all of the snowfall, all of the snowflakes that fall, are completely hitting the boss, and they all hit it, doing a ton of damage. I am getting hurt, so I do gotta be careful. There we go. This is what I want. So I have it, like, staying still. If you get the angle right, look at that. It can do a ton of damage if you get the right angle. And this is a strategy I always used at refarming older boss fights, because it's just a very good thing to do. I use this against Dufishrons, I use this against Skeletron Primes. It's definitely a very cool trick for farming old bosses. So let me try this again. Let's see if I can do a little bit better this time with it. You gotta get the angle, though. It's not a very easy trick to do, but when you get the angle, as you can see, it could shred bosses. So, that is trick number 7, using the North Pole to shred bosses. Here's tip number 8 of Terraria. So, it involves the Ink Shield, and the Ink Shield is an item that grants immunity to knockback and fire blocks, while also granting immunity to most debuffs. Now, the thing that makes the Ink Shield so awesome is that you could have an existing debuff on, and it could disable it. So I'm gonna get hit by some hornets real quick, and as you could see, if they can ever hit me, please hit me, someone. Okay, I did not want to get burned, but yeah, you could get hit from these, and you'll get poisoned. So yeah, there you go. I'm starting to slowly lose life. And when you're poisoned, it's really bad because, you know, you can't regen, and it just sucks. But while you're poisoned, you can actually switch the Ink Shield on, and bang, the poison will immediately go away. I think it could also do the same with fire, too, which is awesome. So, let me try it again. Let me take it off. And you could just switch this with the Frozen Shield, which I use. And you could switch the 2 items around. So, if they poison me again, poison me. Poison me. There you go. I'm poisoned for 8 seconds. Ink Shield, it's gone. So you could switch these items around. So you could switch the Ink Shield for 1 second. And then you could switch back to your Frozen Shield, where it gives you more defense. And that is tip number 8 in Terraria, switching the shield in and out. Trick number 9 involves with your world. So, are you sick at seeing the same trees? Are you sick at seeing the same backgrounds? Well, there is an item in the game that you can buy from this guy, and it sells tree globes, world globes, and moon globes. And if you throw these, it will actually change the world. So, change the trees, change the backgrounds, and change the moon. So I'll show y'all. So these are the trees I have now, and there are 3 types of trees you can get. You can get the normal classic trees, you can get these trees, or you can get one more, these trees. So there are 3 different types of trees you can get. You can do the same with the world as well. As you can see, I kind of have like evergreen trees, like Christmas trees in the background. But dang, they kind of look like jungle trees now, kind of like the classic style. And then I think there's one more as well. Aha! Which is the mountains in the background. So, you could change these by buying these from the zoologist. You can even change the phase of the moon and how the moon looks. So, where is the moon right now, actually? I can't see it. But yeah, you can actually change the phase of the moon as well, which is a very cool concept. The fact that you can do this is really cool. I really like it. And I'm glad that Terraria added something like this into the game. So, yeah, that is tip number 9. Tip number 10 actually involves the Stardust Pillar. So, everyone is not a big fan of farming the pillars. The pillars take forever to grind, and the enemies in it are extremely tough, especially the flow invaders. They're probably some of the most annoying enemies in the Stardust Pillar. But there is one very cool thing you can do. You can get Stardust cells, and then once you see a couple Stardust cells, get out of the pillar zone. down. And then when you're out here, kill the Stardust cells and let them split up. Because Stardust cells can actually multiply. And since they can multiply, you can just keep killing the Stardust cells, and you can kill these over and over again. And each time you kill one of those, they will count as an enemy that is dead for the Stardust Pillar. So you can do this over and over and over again until the pillar is open. And the thing that's good about these is that while they do hit hard, they do keep a massive distance on you, meaning that they're very easy to dodge. So they're very easy to kill over and over again. So as you can see, I've been doing this for like, how long? I did this for like around a minute. And how many enemies did we kill? Let's just see. As you can see, it is actually killing the pillar. You could be outside of the pillar zone, in the pillar zone, and then just like that, bang, the Stardust Pillar is open and you can kill it. So yeah, it's a very cool tip for getting past the Stardust Pillar very easily. You can even do the same thing with the Vortex Pillars with the Alien Queens, but the Alien Queen is a harder enemy to KO, but you could still do it with the Vortex Pillar as well, as Alien Queens are enemies that can also multiply as well. But yeah, it's a very cool tip. Using the Stardust cells to duplicate to KO and cheese the Stardust Pillar. And that is the final tip of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this Terraria video. I know this one is different from the last one, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!